Congo, Syria, South Sudan, Yemen, Chad, the Central African Republic, Nigeria. What do these areas of violent conflict all have in common? They are home to some of the most severe cases of hunger in the world today. Poverty is often at the heart of hunger, and conflict is the most important driver behind both poverty and hunger. Not all cases of hunger in the world are caused by conflict, though. Other major causes of hunger are extreme weather and food waste or loss. In low-income countries, most food loss happens during production. 40% of all the food African farmers grow is lost due to insects, pests, and mold. The world produces more than enough food for everyone on the planet. Still, about 690 million people, or 8.9% of the world population, are undernourished, by the latest estimates. In 1998, the Indian economist Amartya Sen received the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work demonstrating that hunger in modern times is usually caused by distribution problems and government policies. The second Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations is Zero Hunger. This is split into 5 targets. The first one is to ensure universal access by all people in the world to safe and nutritious food all year round by 2030. This is measured by the prevalence of undernourishment. Although the highest number of undernourished people live in Asia, it is Africa where the proportion of undernourishment is the highest. Almost 20% of all people in Africa were undernourished in 2019. The second target is to end all malnutrition by 2030 and reach internationally agreed targets on stunting and wasting in children by 2025. Stunting is a condition of significantly impaired growth and development in children, most often caused by inadequate nutrition over a longer period of time. It is defined in terms of having a height much lower than average for their age. Wasting is usually caused by shorter durations of malnutrition, and is defined as having a very low weight for their height. Overweight is also a form of malnutrition, but in this context we are not talking about wealthy people who choose to eat too much junk food. The majority of poor people around the world can actually afford an energy-sufficient diet with enough calories, at least if they use all their resources on food. However, a healthy diet is much more expensive than the international poverty line. In 2017, it was estimated that more than 3 billion people in the world could not afford a healthy diet. The third target is to double the productivity and incomes of small-scale food producers by the year 2030. The importance of small-scale food production varies a lot between regions. It can be from 40% and all the way up to 85% of all food produced in some developing countries. The fourth target is about ensuring sustainable and resilient food production. Some methods of farming can leave areas less productive, while other methods can help maintain ecosystems and progressively improve land and soil quality. To avoid risk from extreme weather events, droughts, and flooding, it is important to implement agricultural practices that are resilient to climate change. Most of the Sustainable Development Goals have been set for the year 2030. But the fifth and last target of the second goal had a deadline of 2020. The target was to maintain the genetic diversity in food production. This includes seeds, cultivated plants, and animals. By 2020, there should be sufficiently diversified seed and plant banks at the national, regional, and international levels. Sharing of genetic resources and knowledge should be promoted. Even though this target had a short deadline, it seems to have been no significant progress on this at all. After decades of improvement in world hunger, the current numbers on undernourishment and malnutrition do not look good. Since 2015, about 60 million more people are suffering from hunger, increasing by about 10 million more people each year. In the previous video, I talked about how the COVID-19 pandemic is expected to push more people into extreme poverty. Given the closely related nature of hunger and poverty, this pandemic is also expected to result in more people being undernourished. If you think this topic is important, consider clicking the like button. I know it feels weird to like a video as sad and depressing as this, but it can really help spread the information to more people. The next video will be about good health and well-being. If that sounds interesting, you might want to subscribe. The video will be out about a month from now. If you want a reminder, just click the bell.